Just understand, it has just been revealed that the U.S. has already spent at least $25 billion on a war for Israel that began by killing 100-plus schoolgirls, and Congress is now voting on condemning Hasan Piker.
So Hasan Piker just exposed something incredible. Congress passed a resolution targeting him and Candace Owens for anti-Semitism, while approving $25 billion for Israel's Gaza war. This is Democrats using their dwindling power to silence Israel critics instead of addressing real issues. Let's break down this authoritarian overreach.
This is sincerely Democrats openly saying, hey, guess what? We are insincere. We are not serious. We are not invested in making the necessary changes in this country. We are going to advance unbelievable idiotic distractions.
This perfectly captures how Democrats burned their final months of power. Instead of codifying abortion rights or stopping Trump's February Iran strikes, Gottheimer and Lawler crafted this resolution to appease AIPAC donors. It's political theater while democracy crumbles. Exactly the kind of misprioritization that cost them everything.
But the fact that they are even writing a resolution where they put me alongside Candace Owens to say that we're both anti-Semitic and someone has to do something about it, social media companies have to do something about it, is so disingenuous, so insincere. Hakeem Jeffries to introduce amendment to remove Candace Owens from the Hasan Piker resolution.
The false equivalence here is staggering. Candace Owens promotes actual blood libel conspiracies about Jews controlling world events, while he provides geopolitical analysis citing human rights organizations. Lumping together Nazi-adjacent conspiracy theories with foreign policy criticism shows how intellectually bankrupt this resolution really is.
And it's being done for donors. It's being done to fundraise. It's being done because I have some high-profile enemies, okay, that are aggressively pursuing this deplatforming initiative, and they're willing to pay for it. Right?
Follow the money here. AIPAC spent $100 million in Democratic primaries targeting Israel critics, and Lawler's seat flipped back to Democrats in 2024. This resolution is donor serviceman, using congressional power to intimidate platforms and creators who threaten the pro-Israel narrative that keeps those checks flowing.
But luckily, Candace Owens is a part of the bill, and Republicans might shy away from attacking Candace Owens. Think about that. The actual anti-Semite in this resolution is the saving grace that might actually destroy the resolution's passage.
Republicans will absolutely protect Candace Owens despite her anti-Semitism, because she serves their electoral interests by promoting conspiracies that benefit Trump. Meanwhile, they'd gleefully destroy any Israel critic. This exposes how anti-Semitism accusations are weaponized selectively. It's never really about protecting Jewish people.
Piker doesn't have a boss, and absent that, the smear campaign must escalate until he's not invited back by the New York Times or the Pod Saves guys. That's precisely what it is. Feels like they're noticing how effective his stumping for Abdul al-Sayed is, and now they're desperate for anything to disparage any Israel critic politicians. Yes, that is precisely what's going on.
Independent creators like him represent an existential threat to establishment media control. His work for el-Sayed's Senate campaign showed how effective unfiltered voices can be. Unlike traditional media figures vulnerable to advertiser pressure, subscription-funded creators can't be financially coerced. That terrifies the political class.
I love that this guy looked at this situation between me and Candace Owens and said, Hasan Piker is a little more than a critic of Israel. Between me and Candace Owens, I'm the one that's a bigger danger? What the f*** is happening?
This comparison is genuinely insane. Candace Owens literally promotes the Protocols of Zion, a fabricated text that inspired the Holocaust, while he cites casualty figures from the UN. Treating documented war crimes analysis as more dangerous than Nazi propaganda shows how completely inverted our political discourse has become.
Don't criticize Israel. If you criticize Israel, we'll make your life a living hell. We'll take away your sponsorships. Oh, you don't have any sponsorships? We'll take away your ads. Oh, you don't run any ads? Well, we'll take away your platform. We'll do everything in our power. We'll hope that someone might get the right lesson. We'll activate a schizophrenic psycho to come and assassinate you.
We've seen this escalation pattern repeatedly. They destroyed Ilhan Omar's committee assignments, primary challenged progressive Israel critics, and now target independent media. When economic pressure fails, they turn to congressional intimidation and veiled threats. It's a systematic campaign to eliminate dissent on Israel policy.
In an environment where there is a ton of prominent critics of Israel who, at best, are agnostic on the issue of anti-Semitism, and at worst, absolutely utilizing the conversation around Israel to foment anti-Semitism, to target someone like myself who actively does combat anti-Semitism is unbelievably stupid.
This strategy is politically suicidal. Anti-Semitic Israel critics are natural allies in fighting actual Jew hatred, but AIPAC's scorched earth approach alienates everyone. By targeting people who distinguish between criticizing Israeli policy and hating Jewish people, they're actually empowering real anti-Semites who make no such distinctions.
It's because people saw what Israel was doing, and then they dug deep and learned what Israel had been doing leading up to October 7th. They saw what Israel was doing after October 7th, and they could not believe the violence. And then they learned about what Israel had done before October 7th. That is the reason why. And they know what Israel is doing right now.
The numbers tell the story. Over 45,000 Palestinians killed versus 1,200 Israelis on October 7th. Visual evidence from Gaza's destruction shifted American opinion, not influencer manipulation. When people saw schools and hospitals bombed, they researched the broader context. Truth drove narrative change, not propaganda.
This is precisely what the First Amendment is there to protect. Oh, I don't agree with this person's assessment, and therefore he should shut the fuck up. Here's a congressional mandate to get this guy to shut the fuck up. Here's a bipartisan resolution to demand the deplatforming of one content creator that Israel doesn't like.
Congressional pressure on private platforms to silence political speech is exactly what the First Amendment prohibits. The government can't do indirectly what it can't do directly. This resolution creates a chilling precedent. Any geopolitical commentary Congress dislikes becomes grounds for deplatforming demands.
Like, they literally slammed actual, unvarnished, anti-Semitic Protocols of Elder Zion agitprop that Candace Owens is disseminating on a daily basis on her lunatic broadcast to Hasan's assessment is that Israel has killed far more people than Hamas has, and therefore is a far worse influence, a far more destabilizing influence in the region and around the globe than Hamas ever could be. That is objective truth.
Human Rights Watch documented over 25,000 civilian deaths from Israeli strikes, compared to Hamas's 1,200 victims. B'Tselem and Amnesty International confirm these ratios. Basic math makes his point undeniable. Yet somehow acknowledging documented casualty figures gets labeled as anti-Semitic conspiracy theorizing. It's completely backwards.
Josh Gottheimer knows that the information environment is uncontrollable. So they're testing out the boundaries of how much disciplining they can do with congressional resolutions like this. That's it. They're trying to see if social media companies will bite on this nonsense. They know that they can't win this conversation back, but the very least they can do is, buy and sell TikTok with the hopes that people stop saying mean things about Netanyahu and Israel, with the hopes that they can enforce this action upon Amazon and Twitch so that other content creators will think twice.
This resolution parallels authoritarian tactics worldwide, using legislative pressure to force platform censorship. Combined with the TikTok ban and threats against other apps, it's clear they're testing how far they can push corporate compliance. Today, it's one creator. Tomorrow, it's any voice that challenges foreign policy orthodoxy.
You have a platform of this magnitude, of this size, and it's not controllable by the regular groups that have some semblance of influence over most people, because most people want to make money, okay? When they see someone who goes, no, I don't want that. I just want to say the truth. I don't give a shit. I'm backed by my fans. They lose their minds. They don't know how to deal with it. They're like, whoa, this is dangerous. That's what it is.
Traditional media depends on corporate advertisers and establishment access, making them controllable. Independent creators funded directly by audiences represent uncontrollable information flows. When someone can speak truth without fearing sponsor withdrawal or access denial, the entire influence ecosystem breaks down. That's what terrifies them most.
We've reached a new level here of madness, unlike anything before. Hasan Piker no-shows pro-communist event over alleged safety fears while mocking Trump assassination attempt. Would-be fellow panelist Mohsen Mahdawi told the crowd Hasan Piker faced attacks and targeting after the assassination attempt on Trump.
Presidents get Secret Service protection, massive security budgets, and threat assessment teams. Independent creators get death threats and have to hire private security with their own money. The resource disparity is enormous. Yet Congress acts like targeting him carries no real-world consequences. It's deliberately reckless.
Think about that. What a joke of a country we're in, man. Jesus Christ.
This perfectly summarizes American priorities under both parties. $25 billion for foreign wars, congressional resolutions targeting dissent, but no money for healthcare, education, or infrastructure. The disconnect between elite obsessions and public needs has never been more obvious. No wonder trust in institutions keeps collapsing.